Steve Kaplan, West Bloomfield Township Supervisor. Thanks for being with us, Steve.
Good morning, Ronnie. Nice to see you as always.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, same to you. 2021 has to be a better year than 2020.
We hope so, right?
You know how when you write a check and maybe for January, February, and March, you still use the previous year? I don't think people are likely to make that mistake because they know this is 2021.
Very much so. And knowing that as a township supervisor, what are you most looking forward to in the new year?
We are eager for this virus to be eradicated, where our residents and visitors and business people can return to their former lives. As you know, the epidemic now, pandemic, has endured for 10 months, and it's difficult to remember before March of 2020. So this is a game changer. It affects everybody in every way, and it's very sad, especially when you have individuals who are homebound. They're not even allowed to see their relatives if they're living at an assisted care facility. So this has been devastating, both emotionally, physically, psychologically, and of course, many lives have been claimed by the coronavirus.
So typically, we do the year enders, right? What is the one thing that you're taking away from 2020? Anything positive coming out of that year for you?
Yes, good question, Ronnie. The resiliency of Americans, really people across the globe, that this is a devastating illness for people, but they're resilient, they're maintaining jobs, and they're with their families, and they're confident. Most people are hopeful that we will surmount this virus.
So we're talking about the vaccine, and I know that this is mainly being dealt with through the health department, but as a township supervisor, are you a part of any of these conversations about the vaccine and its distribution here in Oakland County?
We are, and Dave Coulter, as a county executive, we have a good relationship, as he does with every city and township in Oakland County. So we are aware of what the county is doing. And Ronnie, what we hope to do at the township, and I can't promise this, is we can have our employees receiving the vaccine here at Town Hall. We would have perhaps a nurse or a pharmacist or a medical technician here at Town Hall administering the vaccines, and that would make it easy for people and convenient.
Well, yeah, and I know one thing with the health department, there's about 400 employees that work over at the Oakland County Health Department, and they've been able to cross-train some of those employees so that maybe they can help administer the vaccine. Are you looking at any type of timeline, or way too early to even put that out there?
No, it's not. I think by March, all of our employees, and as you know, we have 297 employees at West Bloomfield, 91 working at Town Hall, 86 full-time, and we're hoping to have a nurse or a pharmacist or other skilled person, registered person, inoculate our township employees, which would be one-stop shop. Now, you're probably wondering whether the township can mandate that employees receive the vaccine, and legal counsel suggests the answer is yes, but I don't think the township is going to mandate that among its employees. I think what the township will do is encourage all of our employees to receive the vaccine, the two-shot vaccine. I think most employees will. There'll be some peer pressure, but I have some qualms, this is just my personal opinion, as to forcing an employee to submit to the inoculation.
Well, and the thought process is as well, enough other people may get it to lead to herd immunity, but we're still months away. So even if your team can get it in March, will some of the restrictions remain in place until as late as spring or even summer?
Yes. As you know, as we've had other conversations, and they're always good when you and Tyler are hosting, but we have the plexiglass here, we have the social distancing, we have the sanitizer, we have people wear gloves, we have the 6-foot distancing rule, maybe I already said that. So we're very careful, and I'm proud to say that only 4 employees of 91 at Town Hall have been afflicted by the coronavirus, and none of them had serious illnesses.
That is really great to know coming out of this, like you said, 10 months into it.
Yes, that is the case. And one concern among the populace, you talk to more people than I do, I think, but about the pandemic fatigue that some people are going to not be as careful. I'm not wearing a mask any longer. I can't take this. I want to have a party with 6 people at my house. But I'd say residents in West Bloomfield have been superb in following the guidelines because they don't want to infect others. It's one thing if you become sick, but it's another to cause other people to contract the virus, and then others from them can incur it.
So Steve, where do things stand over there at City Hall, Township Hall? Are things still pretty much closed to the public? Are you mainly operating online, or can members of the public come into the building?
To the contrary, we did close to the public, except for essential services, between March 20th and June 15th. But since June 15th, we've been fully operational, Ronnie. Anybody wanting to amble into town hall, either to say hello or walk around or conduct business, that person is welcome. No appointments are needed. So it's business as usual here in West Bloomfield. There are 59 communities in Oakland County, and 21 are closed in some fashion to the public. 38 are closed and 21 are open. So we're proud to be among the 39% that we have remained open fully to the public.
So, and with that, can we talk a little bit about the budget?
Yes.
2021, what is it looking like for West Bloomfield?
We passed and adopted a budget at the December 21st meeting, and we have no cuts here. We have no layoffs. We have no reductions in services. In fact, our fund equity balance or rainy day fund has grown because of what we consider careful management by the 7 members of the Board of Trustees. So residents in West Bloomfield or businesses in West Bloomfield will not be facing, as far as we can see in 2021, any reduction in services.
You know, Steve, one thing I've been really surprised during this pandemic, the housing market. It is doing amazingly well right now. In fact, more and more people are looking to moving to the suburbs instead of in some of these urban areas. Do you think that's going to stick around once the vaccine rolls out and COVID-19 goes away, if we ever actually get there?
Ronnie, it's counterintuitive. One would think that housing values would decrease because with fewer people working, we have more people unemployed and underemployed, and businesses closing because of the pandemic. One would think that housing values would diminish by 10%, 15%, 20%, as they did in the 2007, 2008 recession. But we've seen the opposite, and many homes in West Bloomfield are being purchased above the list price. I know a home that was listed there on Strathdale for $290,000 and it sold for $330,000. That doesn't mean that will continue, but it shows that many people remain employed and many people are confident. I think if you're buying a home in today's climate, it's a sign of optimism.
Well, it's hard to, it's like you said, though, I mean, these houses are getting snapped up within a day or two of going on the market. But how does that, the home sales and the value of the homes going up, how does that play into the budget?
It enhances the budget because let's say we have a $300,000 home sold for $350,000. We then capture the $50,000 in taxes, so if you live in a home, you own a home, your home is appreciating, say, by 6-7% each year, your taxes are not increased by 6 or 7 by that amount of money. Instead, it's based on Headley Amendment and the rate of inflation. But once you sell your home, it's uncapped. So the new purchaser, the new homeowner, does have increased taxes to pay, which of course assists the township.
So we're seeing a lot about the people in Lansing, as well as their elected leaders in DC. They seem to be on different wavelengths or when it comes to trying to get some type of COVID relief out to the regular people. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, we need to help our residents, the citizens here across Michigan. It's not their fault that this coronavirus invaded our shores, and we have to do what we can. It's sad and tragic for people to lose their homes or not to be able to buy food. And so we have to do what we can for those who are in need. It affects all of us.
What are you hearing on the business front there in West Bloomfield? how many of some of these smaller businesses are closing, such as the restaurants?
This is not an area of optimism for us. For instance, Jimmy John's closed at Maple and Orchard Lake. To lose not a restaurant, but fast food, fast cuisine, whatever you want to call it, which had been here for 10 years, that's a bad sign. We worry very much about the small businesses because how do they maintain? How do they keep their employees? How do they pay their bills? And until this pandemic is surmounted, we're going to be losing more businesses. Not only does it affect the tax base, but it takes away from the character of a community, because these stores, these individual store owners, they're part of our community and they really care, and this is their life, and these are their lives, and now they're losing their businesses. So our hearts go out to them.
So from a township supervisor position, what can be done to help them? I mean, I know, if they have a loan, it's with the bank, you can't pay their light bill, but is there something more that can be done to try to help offset or delay their tax bills?
We're not allowed to do that under state law. We do not resort to water shut off or sewage shut off. And also we have a good relationship with DTE. And I don't think DTE is cutting off electrical or energy services to residents across Michigan, but that's the most we can do. So for example, Ronnie, let's take a resident who's unable to pay his taxes. And this is just a wonderful person who is always paid on time, maybe even in advance, and says, I can't pay for a year, can you hold it? As much as we might want to do that, we can't, because that would affect every other resident. In other words, we can't take money from the full pie of the township to help one or more residents.
Steve Kaplan with us here on the Oakland County Megacast. He's always a good friend joining us on the show. And with that, Steve, what's your New Year's resolution for 2021? Do you have one?
I have two. The first one is not to make any resolutions, because I always fail. Eat less, eat better, exercise more, sleep more, and that lasts for about 2 or 3 weeks. But although it's not a resolution, my fervent hope is that we can conquer this coronavirus and return to the great lifestyles we had.
So with that, when you go into work today, what's the top things that you're trying to tackle in the first few weeks of 2021?
Providing full services to our residents and businesses and visitors. They deserve that. They pay taxes, they pay fees, and we need to provide services from a friendly staff, which we have, from a competent staff, which we have. And we want people to know that at least at the local government level, they will be fulfilled for whatever their needs are.
So I know a lot of the meetings have been virtual in 2020. Is that going to continue into 2021 as well?
Yes, I think the virtual meetings will continue all the way through August. We declared a state of an emergency in March of 2020, and we renewed that in January of 2021. And sorry about that, the phone's ringing. But because of that, we continue having virtual meetings through December 31 of 2021.
Steve Kaplan with us. Great to have you with us. Anything that maybe I didn't ask that you want to get out there before we let you go?
No, good interview as always by you. Thank you for inviting me, and best wishes to the entire staff at Civic Center TV.